What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome back to another episode here on Ben Builds. We are back on the FJ2 Fury by Kitty Hawk, and today it's going to be a big day, guys, because we are finally going to be able to apply the all-clad paint down here on the Fury. That's going to be very, very exciting. So the first thing I wanted to go ahead and do, that we have our gloss black paint all nicely airbrushed on there, is dry, ready to go, fully cured. I want to go ahead and see if I can play around with some of these all-clad colors. Now, what I did off camera is I took a wing. This is for Makia 84, an old kit I had lying around. I went ahead and I overcoated the entire thing with a gloss black base. And I've gone ahead and just kind of airbrushed here and there different colors on top of this base. So this first here is the all-clad aircraft frame aluminum. This is the entire wing here, just painted with gloss black and the aircraft frame aluminum. I think it looks pretty cool. It has a nice sheen to it. On the other side, this is a combination of a couple of different techniques that I tried. I've actually overcoated the gloss black base with the all-clad chrome. I love this paint. It is super, super nice to airbrush. I also tried coming back in and doing kind of a marbling coat with the gloss black primer and then overcoated it with chrome. It didn't really turn out as well as I would have hoped. It's way too stark, but it does give an interesting appearance of oxidized metal. On the underside of the wing, I've done the exact same thing here, but I've been playing around with the idea of trying to get variation in that natural metal finish. I watched Doog's models do something similar. So what I did is I took the black base and I overcoated it with the aircraft frame aluminum. Then I came back and I took my stencils and I went ahead and I just kind of marble coated certain areas with the same color with that aircraft frame aluminum. And then I overcoated on top of that a very light misting of chrome. And that gave me an interesting variation in metal surfaces. It gave me a little bit of almost like a splotchy effect. I did that same thing over here. Instead of the aircraft frame aluminum, I did the chrome on both the stenciling pattern and then a top coat of chrome, of course, underneath the black basing. And it came out really, really cool. But then I wanted to go ahead and try a few extra things to get that variation in metal. And I think, honestly, this is a really cool effect. Now, I also wanted to point out that you don't have to use a gloss black all-clad paint. You can use a gloss black Tamiya. I went ahead and I took two fuselages here for the Ki-84. One half of it I painted in the all-clad gloss black, and it is a very, very smooth finish. Very, very nice to paint with. On the other, I went ahead and used the gloss black by Tamiya, and again, they're very similar. There's not really that much difference between the two. I am going to go ahead and go with the all-clad gloss black, but it's nice to know that if you're running low on paint, you can use the gloss black by Tamiya. Probably a little bit cheaper too. But honestly, I'm going to go ahead and just go straight with the all-clad and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and try something very different with this, and I'm not really sure if it's going to work. Kind of risky. I'm going to go ahead and cover the entire aircraft with aircraft frame aluminum, and then we'll be coming back with a marbling coat of the all-clad chrome, and then we'll mist chrome on top of that, and we'll see how it works. So I'll be right back. Let's get that first layer done. All right, everybody, we have our very first coat here. This is just the straight aircraft frame aluminum on top of the gloss black paint by all-clad, and it looks really nice. It's got a very cool sheen to it. It's not as chrome or as aluminum as I would like it to be, so that's okay because we're going to try something with chrome. I'm going to take my stencils. We're going to go ahead and go over the entire aircraft with some sort of a marbling coat using my stencils and using all-clad chrome. That's going to hopefully give us a little bit of a variation in the metal, and then the chrome on top of that will help to kind of blend everything together. Now, is this going to work? I have no idea, but it worked on my test subject, and I like the effect. So let's go ahead and cue up that time lapse and just give it a try, right? We got nothing to lose. Let's just do it. All right, everybody, we are back. And as you can see, this is the Fury as it stands now. This is the gloss black base. On top of that, we put a nice even coat of the aircraft frame aluminum. And then, as you saw in the time lapse, we went ahead and we covered everything with a stenciled marbling coat of all-clad chrome, and then misted a nice layer of chrome on top of everything, blending it all together. Did it work? Yes and no. There's a couple of areas that weren't really what I wanted to go for, but to be honest, it's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. Now we're going to have to go ahead and start picking out different panels that are going to be a different color metal. One of the first ones that comes to mind here is the very front of the nose. We have the metal around the two gun ports on the right and left side. That tends to be a darker metal, maybe like a steel color or almost like a burnt metal. So luckily I have some jet exhaust that I think would be perfect for this application. So I'm going to start off there. We're going to take just some basic jet exhaust. I'm going to fill up my airbrush here, and we're just going to really apply a very, very light coat on top of it. That way, the metal underneath is going to show through just a little bit, and it's going to give us a nice tinting effect, and I'm going to have that really cool looking darker metal section. It really looks like the picture, and that's what I was going for. So hopefully you guys agree. Let's go ahead and pull that tape off here, and I can show you guys the finished product. The nice thing about all-clad, you can mask on it pretty quickly after airbrushing, which is different. I like it. So moving right along, guys, we're going to go ahead and use my references. And I've gone through and pre-selected some images that really highlight that almost like a patchwork effect that we see on a lot of metal aircraft. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some basic Tamiya tape. We're going to mask off certain panels. I'm going to come back and we're going to use, again, another time lapse, and I'm going to take some Vallejo and I'm going to apply that with the airbrush, just a real quick pass to highlight and kind of pick out different panels on the aircraft that look a little different in my references. So let's go ahead and cue up that time lapse, guys, and let's see what we can do. This is going to be fun. Let's try it out. All right, everybody, we are back, and I gotta tell you, that was a lot of fun. That was really difficult to do, though, and very time-consuming, but hopefully you guys got the idea. I did use Tamiya tape. I masked off certain panels that would have been slightly different colored. I went through, I hit them real quick with my Vallejo aluminum, and that was perfect. That was all I needed. Now I'm going to be going ahead and painting up some of the detail parts, just real quick off camera. Nothing that crazy, nothing that major. We're going to be using some OD green for the inside of the wheel wells, and then I'm going to be using some Vallejo aluminum for the landing gears and the landing gear struts. I wanted to go ahead and keep that metal look, but I wanted it to be a little bit different. It looks like when you're looking at the actual aircraft, you don't really have the same metal on the landing gears as you do on the aircraft. They tend to be a little different color. Now, whether they're painted or whatnot, I'm not sure, but I want to go ahead and just use some different paints to represent that. Moving over to the landing gears, like I said, we're going to be using some Vallejo aluminum paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and go over all the main gears as well as the nose gear, and we're going to just paint those up, and then we're going to let that dry. Once it's dry, we can go ahead and turn our attention over to the wheels. Just a real quick tire black around there for the wheels themselves, and the center hub's going to get another shot of Vallejo aluminum, and I think we'll be good to go, and we'll call it quits for today. This kit has really come along. It had a horrible accident, though. I accidentally spilled some of my all-clad paint onto the tail, and it totally screwed it up. But I was able to go ahead, come back, sand it down, and fix it up, so we're looking okay. Whew, crisis averted. All right, everybody, we are back, and as you can see, this is how the Fury currently looks. We've got the all-clad paint. We've got the Vallejo accent panels. We did touch up the wheels. We've got the wingtips painted as well. We are looking pretty good for today. Now, using that stenciling technique with the chrome and then overcoating it with chrome again did work in certain areas, and some panels have a really neat look. Other panels, not so much, but you know what? I'm learning, so that's all that really matters. Now, the drop tanks, I've left pretty much just that plain old aircraft frame aluminum. I've seen a couple images that show these to be a little different color than the actual aircraft. I might come back and kind of play around with maybe hitting a couple panels chrome and see how that works in conjunction. But right now, I'm a little bit burnt out, so we're going to take a break, let it sit for a bit. Natural metal finish is always kind of tough to do. I never have really mastered it, but this is probably the best natural metal I've done yet. And I really do have to give it up for all-clad. All-clad paints are super nice to use. The gloss black is super thin, very glossy, dries very quickly, to be honest. And also the paint themselves, wonderful to use. I used both the aircraft frame aluminum and I used the chrome. I got to tell you, both of them went on beautifully. Very thin, just almost like water, even thinner than water. Super easy to airbrush and very forgiving when it came to cleaning and airbrushing them through. So I'm very happy. I think overall, not too bad. But that's going to be it for us today, guys. I am tired, man. I've been on this bench for a while. Not too long for you guys, but it's been hours for me. So we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today. Next time, we'll come on back and see what else we can do with this aircraft. This has come along better than I anticipated. You know, I might want to try some more natural metal in the future because working with all-clad, pretty nice experience. But until our next episode, everybody, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on episode number 13 of the FJ2 Fury by Kitty Hawk. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.